Okay, well, today we're going to start B'ezrat Hashem, the Shir. We're holding 2 Sundays away from Pesach. So we're going to spend tonight, hopefully, with everybody's permission, we're going to try to get through the Shir. The Shir is on Hilchot Leil HaSeder, the halachot of how to conduct the Seder, the mitzvot of the Seder. We spoke many times, very interestingly, that Pesach is the only holiday where the mitzvot of the holiday, of the Chag, are all on night. Chilas Matzah, the mitzvahs at night. Morah, the rabbinic, is also at night. All the Arba Kosot at night. Usually, most Chagim, Rosh Hashanah, Shofar is in the daytime, and Sukkot, Lulav is in the daytime. And everything is always in the daytime. Pesach is at night, and it has its significance, which we talked about. Pesach, the Seder, is a lot of halachot. So we're going to jump right into page 57 in our books. And we'll start with the Rambam. Rambam in Hilchos Chametz Umatzah, chapter 7, halacha Yud. Says the Rambam, Kol kois v'kois ma'arba kosot ha'elu mivarech alav bracha mipnei atzmo. The Rambam says that every single one of the 4 kosot is its own mitzvah, and it gets its own bracha. Because Rishon, Omer alav Kiddush Hayom, in the first kos we say Kiddushan. Koisheni Korilos Haggadah. On the Koisheni we say the Haggadah, do Magid. Koishelishi Mivarach alav Birkat HaMazon. On the third kos we do Birkat HaMazon. Kos Revi'i Gormin alav is Halal, Umivarach alav Birkat Hashir. We say Halal, and we say the bracha on page 57. Uvein hakosot ha'elu, and between these cups, we know this. If he wants to drink an additional cup between cup 1 and 2, or he wants to drink an additional cup or cups between 2 and 3, he could do it. Between 3 and 4, you don't drink any extra cups. It's already the end of the Suda, ready to Birkat HaMazon, so there's no more drinking at that time unless for the kos. So that's the Rambam's. The Rambam also said over here, Mevarech alav bracha mipnei atzma, which they take to mean saying Bari Priya Gefen on every kos. Like the Ashkenazim, I think the Temanim also say a bracha. If they go with this Rambam, they will say a bracha Bari Priya Gefen on every kos. We Sfaradim do not, only on the first and the third. But let's go into what's Kaddish, who's making the Kiddush, on page 58. Tan Rabbanon, a Gemara Pesach Pesachim, Kufchesam and Beis. Tan Rabbanon, Hakol Chayivin be'arba koisot halalu. Everybody has to make the arba kosot. Echad anashim ve'echad nashim. Both the men and the women, they all have to do arba kosot. They have to do the arba kosot. Interesting, the Gemara says ve'echad tinokos, as well as the children. Now, don't get excited. It doesn't mean the children have to drink wine. It means the children have to be the participatory people in the Seder. If they're ready, if the gil of chinuch, you can give them some grape juice to drink. Obviously, you don't want to give them any alcohol if they can't tolerate it. And but there really is no chiyuv on the child to drink the arba kosot. Rather, it means this part, the echad tinokos, means that the child should be participatory in the events of the Seder. The Rambam says, and everybody knows this, B'chol dor v'dor chayiv adam l'harot et atzmo ki'ilu hu ba'atzmo yotza. Ata, right now, mishibud mitzrayim shneemar v'otanu hotzi misham. V'al davar zeh tziva HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'Torah v'zacharta ki eved ha'ita. D'laimer ki'ilu ata ba'atzmecha ha'ita eved v'yatata l'cheres v'nefita. So you have to look at yourself as if you yourself went through the Yitziat Mitzrayim. Lefikach, says the Rambam, Kishasod Adam b'layla hazeh tzarech le'echol v'lishtot v'humeisiv derech cheres. He has to sit and feel as if he got freed, so he's sitting and reclining as he's a free man, and that's what they did. V'chol echa v'echad ben anoshim ben noshim, whether it's a man or a woman. Chayiv l'shtot b'layla zeh arba kosot shel yayin. The women also have an obligation to drink those 4 cups, and they cannot reduce them. You can't say I want to have less. He also cannot go less than the 4 kosot. So the 4 kosot is a deal breaker. You have to have all 4 kosot. What is the reason for the 4 kosot? So far the Rambam said to show chirut, to show freedom. But it is famous that everybody knows. The Rashi, Pesachim, Arba kosot. Why do we have the 4 cups? Keneged Arba l'shonei geula. Comparable to the 4 languages of Geula. What are the 4 languages of Geula? Ha'imrim, Be'galos Mitzrayim, Be'hotzeti etchem, Be'itzalti etchem, Be'gealti etchem, Be'lekachti etchem, Be'parshas Ve'era. So in Parshas Ve'era, you have 4 Lashonos of Geula. So again, it is the redemption of the Jews. And it all came in stages. Take a look at the footnote. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says, why must such a cup consist specifically of wine? Why we need wine, all 4 cups? You can't throw something else in there. Right? So he answers that wine is unique. And that the more it's aged, right, the better it comes. Similarly, during each stage of the redemption, we will achieve even greater heights than the previous one, concluding with the final stage, right? So I'll take you to the land. Now, there are other understandings of what the 4 cups are. There are those, the Vilna Gaon, who has the 4 olamot, Olam Hazem, Yemais HaMashiach, Tzkias HaMesim, and Olam Haba, comparable to the 4 cups. The 4 punishments that the Goyim will get eventually. So comparable to different things. There are secrets behind the 4 cups. Again, a deal breaker, you got to drink those 4 cups, both men and women. Now, how much wine must you drink? So if I make Kiddush, and on a cup, how much of the wine must I drink?
No.
Drink or the cup has to hold? I'm asking how much you have to drink.
3.2, 3.
I make Kiddush. Melo lugma. That's the one I want to hear. What's melo lugma mean? Cheekful. What's a cheekful? If I have to define a cheekful, we're going to look in Tosfot in a minute. He's going to say. Interestingly, when it comes to Hilchot Pesach, the Gemara says, Amar Nachman Bar Yitzchak, when it comes to Pesach, he has to drink the majority of his cup. What does that mean? Okay, the regular Kiddush, I have to drink Malay Lugma. I have to drink a cheekful. Pesach, the Gemara says you have to drink Rov Kos, the majority of the cups. So Tosfot says, don't worry, it's all the same thing. Hainu Malay Lugma. That's what it means. Rov Kos means Malay Lugma. All right, that was explained before. However, lechatchila, you should really finish your entire cup. So, according to Tosfot, he says that malay lugmav is how much you have to drink, is a cheekful, and that's what it means. Most of the cup. Tosfot's understanding that the cup that you're using is a revi'it cup. A rov of that kos, a revi'it cup, for our understanding, will be 3 ounces. A cup that holds 3 ounces. Rov of that, majority of that is 1.6. Okay, 1.6. That is considered a cheekful according to Tosfot. You have to malay lugmav is 1.6. That's why it's rov kos, and that's why it's malay lugmav. Rov revi'it. Okay, and the kos that they're talking about in the Gemara is the revi'it kos. Okay. Now, however, the Beit Yosef brings from the Ramban, and the Ramban says, "Shetzarich l'shtod rov mikol kos." Even if it holds, kama revi'ot. The Ramban understands when it says rov kos in the Gemara, that means rov kos. Doesn't mean malay lugmav. It means a majority of the cup, whatever the majority is. If I have a 10-ounce cup, I'll have to drink more than 5. If I have a 12-ounce cup, I'll drink more than 6. Whatever I have to drink the majority of that cup. That's the way the Gemara is understood. Right? In the kosher, you're going to have to drink 20 ounces. It's a lot. So the Bach Hadash, he says, listen, it's 2 different things going on over here. When you have Kiddush, you make Kiddush, you just have to taste the wine. But when it comes to the mitzvah of what's it called, of the 4 cups, there you're going to have to, what's it called, drink a rove, right? There's a difference. When you're just doing kiddush, so you could take a cheekful. But when you're doing an obligation to drink to 4 cups of a kan, look down halfway in source 8 of a kan de me'inan shishatia arba kosot, right? And it's not considered drinking a cup until you drink a row of a kos, right? So therefore, by arba kosot, it's not enough to drink malay lugma. Rather, you have to drink a robe of the kos. Right? Ben kos katan shel ben kos gadol harbe. V'hainu dafka di avad. And this drinking robe kos is only b'di avad. Aval lechatchila tzarich l'shtot kulo. The real lechatchila says the bach drinking the entire cup, no matter how big that cup is. Okay, so the bach says this malo lugma is only kiddush. It's not for the arba kosot. Arba kosot, it's tzarich rov kos, whatever the size kos you have, and lechatchila has to be the full kos.
Not by the milligrams or the food. Let's say I'm gonna get small cups, yeah?
You have to have at least a revi'it. The cup has to hold at least 3 ounces.
3.2.
3.1, 3.1, 3.2.
Also supposed to be full? The big cup?
If I'm making a bracha on a kos, it has to be full. Yeah.
And after
There's one
drink that
thing-
full whole thing?
There's one thing is the cup being full, the other thing is the same rabbi saying to drink
Right.
most of the course.
That's the
Does that overflow? Does that overflow, or it can be like a little bit from the top?
Doesn't have to.
Вот чего я не знал, я большой.
Okay, so you have to drink Rov Kos. You have to drink Rov Kos. Well, let's take a look at the Shulchan Aruch. Says the Shulchan Aruch in source 9. Shir HaKois, the cup must contain Rivit, has to contain Rivit. Right, after you dilute it, everything has to have a Rivit of wine in there. V'ishteh kulo o rubo. He has to drink the entire cup or most of the cup. V'im yesh by harbe reviot, but if it has many reviot in there, it has many 3 ounces. So let's say it has 9 ounces. Shoten mimenu kol kach b'nei adam kiminyan reviot shebo. You can have multiple people drinking from the kos. Says the Shulchan Aruch, if I have a cup that's 9 ounces, 3 people can drink from this, because each one has a revi'it of wine in there for them. So says the Shulchan Aruch as a stam and a yesh. It says in the stam that l'maisa you have to drink rov revi'it. Okay, that's in the stam, and in the yesh, we have a chair right now. And in the yesh, the Shulchan Aruch says you have to drink rov kos. So let's take a look at the Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah is going to tell us the proper way of doing these things over here. Says the Mishnah Berurah, really, you want rov revi'it. That's for the cups. That's more strict, and the majority of the cup is required. Okay, so he says the Shabbat starts off by saying, really, all you have to drink is rov revi'it, 1.6 ounces. But practically, halacha is in accordance with the first opinion. Nevertheless, if one does not plan on drinking a lot, you hear this, Rabbi Avner.
Yeah.
Im en b'da'ato l'shtot arbeh, lo yikach kos gadol. He should not take a big cup. Kos from hazik revi'it, right? This way, if you do it this way, according to everybody, you're good, right? Because according to the other opinion, you have to drink rov kos. They're okay with the revi'it kos. You're okay to take a 3-ounce cup. Everybody holds a 3-ounce cup is fine. Only question is, I have a bigger cup. Then what do I do? Right? Some say you still have to drink rov revi'it. But why go there? Why get into this problem? So you should find a cup that holds a minimum of eat if you have difficulty drinking that much wine.
What we do. We do exactly, either a little bit more
Right, a little bit more because
If
this
can-
way you
if
move this
can
way, you
make
move
a
that
lot,
way.
then it's okay. But if you can, just exactly, you're a little bit more, and you roll reveal, you're 100% with
Piola
everything.
is about 3 The little cup.
The Piola, huh?
Right, the piola is about 3
Yeah,
ounces. If you
more.
check it, it should be a little bit over 3.
Everyone else in the family. He-
The big one. Yeah, I know me. 4 times. Okay, so the Maisa Locha is disposable cup is going to be mutar to use if you need to use it.
Say somebody doesn't have, more guests than expected, and then.
Al making kiddush on a disposable cup, it is fine. Whether it's Pesach, whether it's Shabbat, always good. Not a problem. For derech cheres, you want to use something more expensive.
Ceramic.
But la halachas of kiddush, and if it be considered a kos, a disposable cup is considered a kos.
I don't know about that.
They have the disposable
It makes no
cups.
difference.
Wow.
You're adding 2 cuts, anyone makes no difference. It's as long as it has a shem kos, it is usable. The question you can ask is nowadays, after COVID, a lot of these companies went really cheap. All right. So now it's really not that reusable. Right? It has to be able to drink for more than once. And able to drink more than once is considered a kos. Some of these things, they have such cheap plastic. I can hear you being masupik if it's really reusable. I think even those are still reusable. You can fill it with water twice at least.
But it says for Hidur Mitzvah.
Oh, for Hidur Mitzvah.
You wanna be
That's a different story. He was
like-
asking Meister, I have no choice. I have this kos. Is it
No,
okay? Yeah, it's okay.
Why you want
Disposable cup is kosher for kiddush.
You have a plastic
Always.
one.
Yeah,
Plastic.
it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Now, how fast do I have to drink this wine? Okay.
Whisper.
So for always, you want to drink it fast. Okay. You want to drink your over revi'it in one shot. And for the time it takes to drink a revi'it. So if I want to drink 3 ounces of water, how long does it take me to take 3 ounces of water? How long does it take?
2-3 seconds.
Okay. If I have a good tolerance of wine, how long it takes me to drink 3 ounces of wine?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Really, you should try to drink. Few seconds. Really, you should try to drink the rov revi'it within a few seconds. Now, if it's really hard for you, or you're stuck with this huge cup and you have rov kos, or you want to do the full kos, and you want to drink a lot of it, and it's hard on you, you have up to 4 to max 7.5 minutes to drink that amount.
Minutes or seconds?
Minutes. Kedei achilas pras.
Well, but this is not
Right. So lechatchila, you want to drink it within seconds. Kedei drinking of a revi'it. That's lechatchila. But the avad, if a person has it hard, then they should drink it within 4 minutes to a max of 7.5 minutes, which is called kedei achilas pras. All right, but lechatchila nachon l'shtot revi'it bevat achad. Really, you should try drinking it all in one shot.
רוב העולם שותה ככה. Most of
But
them.
some people it's hard, so they have that max.
Yeah, but anyone, it's not time to have a wine.
All right.
tasting,
Wine tasting to the wine connoisseurs, right? They drink it slowly. They take it and then stir it and then put it.
But
Yeah.
today there is no reason for somebody to drink it for 4 or 5 minutes or
Right.
whatever, because there are all kind of wines.
Right.
If you can take it the 11%, take the 3%.
Right. You don't need the 112%, right? Alcohol proof. Right.
No, wine is the wine. What do you fulfill the mitzvah? If they tell you the 5% is wine, it means nothing.
Yeah, right. So Rav Chaim, so that's what I do. I take the Rashi Kal, right? That they sell 3.5%, and I use that because anything more than that, I'm not gonna be in my place. I'm gonna lose it. I'll be tipsy. Right, Purim 2.0, right? So we don't want Purim, we want Pesach. So you have to look into it. The size of the cup. Now we've been saying 3 ounces, which is based on the Shita and the Shiurim of Avram Chaim Noeh. And that is what we hold halacha l'maaseh. There is another Shita of the Chazon Ish and others, the Yehuda and others, that it is a little bit more. It's around 5.5 ounces.
Like cost, no? 84?
So cost is 86 cc,
Yeah.
86 ml. And the Yaakov says you only need 81, right? So how you understand that? But whatever, it's around 3 ounces. The bigger sheet is 5.5. The Bir Halacha wants to say that perhaps when you're doing Doraitas, you should use a 5.5, and when you're doing it the Rabbanans, which Lamaisa, the Arba Kosot is the Rabbanan, you can use the 3.1 ounce. The Rav Yosef Tzvi Rimoin says that perhaps Kiddush is somewhat of a doraita, right? Kiddush is somewhat of a doraita.
The first one.
Right, the first cup. So maybe the first cup you should go a little bit more and use a 5.5 ounce cup, all right, versus the other ones. But you don't have to. You can use everything a 3.1 ounce cup. All right, now, what about when it comes to reclining? There are certain things during the Seder you have to recline for, right? The drinking of the wine, the matzahs, and other parts of the Seder you have to recline. What's the whole idea of reclining? So says the Rambam, the same way that the kings and the great people, the noble people, so it should be in a form of freedom. Okay? And says the Rambam again, that helps you what? To get into the mode of realizing that I was freed by leaning. However, already during the times of Rishonim, the Ravaya says, what was manazeh, she'en regilot baratzenu lahaseb, she'en regilot b'nei chorin, lahaseb yashav kedarkai. Says the Ravaya, I don't know anybody today in the noble aristocracy, whatever the aristocracy, all these people, all these famous rich people, all these noble people, nobody leaning.
I'm sitting in the chair.
He's sitting on the chair. The king of Spain is sitting in his chair. The king of Britain is sitting on the chair. King of Morocco, I don't know what he's doing. He's leaning?
No.
Sitting. Sitting, Gamkein. Okay. So he says, therefore, you don't have to sit anymore. He says, there, when it was a derech chirut, when it's derech freedom, you have to do it. But now that it's not, you don't have to do it. Shulchan Aruch says, no, you have to. Shulchan Aruch says you have to. You have to lean. You have to lean, and you have to lean on the left side.
I tell you why.
Right.
It's because if you let over here to change, then many other things you're going to change. We say already for many times, we need really then yoter gadol to change things, and this is something really in the halacha to lean.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it goes back to the Rambam. The Rambam wants you to get into the mode of feeling free, right? And you want the children to ask, like the Gemara says multiple times. So doing this as seva will definitely get things into the mode, right? Like the Chinuch says that things work based on what you do, right? You go based on your actions. You want your actions to be there. And in fact, if you don't lean on the cups when you're drinking the cups of wine, you don't lean during the matzah, you're going to have to go back and do it over again. So make sure you're leaning. Now, we mentioned every time we talk about leaning means I'm leaning. All right?
Leaning on the air or?
No, not on the air. Exactly what I wanted to bring out. Not in the air. Okay? That's fine. As long as you're leaning and your body's on a slant. Okay, and you don't have to put your head on a pillow. You don't have to go sleep, right? As long as your body's on a. So I think Sion once said that it's a very good idea is to use these folding chairs. He said that it was more what's it called, easier to see because you can actually the higher chairs you get stuck over there, but the reclining chair with the folding chairs.
We are the king.
So someone asked him, is that their chairs to use a folding chair? And he said, yeah, as long as I can lean well. Okay, so you have to actually lean on something. You can lean on somebody also, but I don't know how well that's going to go on the Seder, right? If I lean on somebody.
Leaning on the table, it's like the person who is worried.
They shouldn't lean on the table?
That's what I understood.
I didn't see that, but it's possible.
My wife like this, or it's not.
You can lean on. You can, as long as you're leaning on something or someone, that is fine, but it's not recommended. Not recommended.
You have to lean on the head.
I guess I'm holding.
It doesn't have to be all your body. Your body has to be on it. It has to actually lean on it, but it doesn't have to be like I'm like falling down on it. No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's a lean. Now, what about women? The woman needs to lean. Okay, so the halacha Shulchan Aruch says Isha ain't tzricha seva. Elim kain he chashuva, unless she is a chashuva lady. Okay, so apparently it wasn't the derech of women, even by the nobility, to lean unless they were very special, and then they lean. The Ramah says, "V'chol nashim shalanu Mikre chashuvot. Right, all of our ladies are considered chashuv, so therefore they all lean.
The all in?
They all lean. Yeah, they all do haseva. L'maisa, alach l'maisa. If the lady didn't lean, she doesn't have to go back to do any of the mitzvot because she really doesn't have to lean. And even if she did have to lean, you have the Ravaya that says nowadays you don't have to lean. So you have what to say on the lady that if she didn't lean, she doesn't have to go back to do the mitzvot. Lechatchila, yeah, they should be instructed to lean. Baruch Hashem, all our wives and mothers and daughters, they're all hashuvot, they're all very special. So we want them all to lean.
Or only if
Okay.
she sit next to you.
Only if she sits next to you. Okay. Shkoyach. Right. So and look at the Ben Ish Chai in source 18. V'gam achilas kol arba kazayatot shel matzah v'yu b'seva bein hanoshim uvein hanoshim bein hagedolim bein haketanim. Everybody has to say there, man, woman, small and big. Everybody has to do his seva. Okay. So we did through the leaning of the wine. We know about the lachot of leaning. Now we're getting to orchatz. Orchatz is we wash our hands. For what?
For Yarakot.
For Yirakot. Why am I washing my hands for Yirakot? Okay, so anytime food is wet by one of these 7 liquids, the Yad Shach Dam, your hands have to be washed like you do to Ayadim for bread. Your hands should be washed for that. Without bracha, just like we do on the Seder. And for us, Sephardim, this is actually a whole year-round halacha, right? It's not only a Pesach night halacha. By Ashkenazim, it's a Pesach night halacha to remind them of the times of the Mikdash, to make the kids ask questions. But for us, it's the din all year. Every time I'm going to touch a food that was made wet or dipped into one of these 7 liquids, then what's it called? I have to wash my hands. Do I make a bracha on this? On this washing? No, we don't make a bracha on this washing.
Anybody eats Israeli salad has to wash.
No, come on.
Lama?
Yeah.
Which liquid is there?
What?
Which liquid is there?
It's all wet.
Lemon juice is not one of the liquids.
No, but
Fruit
the
juice
liquid
is not a liquid.
of the tomato itself. The
No,
liquid there.
Yad Shachid Dam. Yain, Dvash, Shemen, Mayim,
we do
milk.
put shemen in the
There has to be 7. Fruit juice is not one of the 7. That's why they say, that's why when you say, when you do, that's why they say, when you do karpas, so, you know, what do you have to dip it into? So some people want to use lemon juice. If it's made peot, so what do? You have to add in water. You have to add in the majority water, so now it becomes water, and then no, if it's a little bit, it's bottled to the rest of the liquid. That's the majority water. With the liquid, a little bit of liquid, I believe it has to be a majority. We'll take a look in a second. Okay. So orchatz, you wash your hands without a bracha. Let's say the guy washed his hands with the bracha.
It says by mistake bracha.
So Rabbi Yosef already remembers. It's okay. There are opinions that you should say brachas, although we don't pass him that way. And then he should not pay attention to his hands. Don't keep them clean on purpose. Go through the Haggadah, and then he'll wash his hands again and say another bracha before Amoiti. Okay. Now, what do you do with karpas? No, doesn't say bracha. That's it. Say the bracha. No bracha. No bracha. It just
Take away a bracha.
no, it does not. It just makes it here. Here we go. Here, the blessing that he has recited at this time is not counted as a blessing recited in vain, since there are poskim who rule that it's necessary to recite the blessing when washing hands to eat wet food, just like when one washes hands to eat bread. So there are poskim who say you're supposed to make the bracha. We say safek brachot la'akel, therefore we don't make the bracha. Okay. Karpas, Rabotai, page 67. Karpas. Aviu lefanav and they bring in front of him a vegetable, metal v'chazer, and then he dips it. He dips the chazer into something. What? Why? So the children can ask. Now it says he dips the lettuce, which is the maror. So why are we chazer? Why are we saying chazer over here? So I believe they explain that it's even if I don't have anything else to use for karpas, I can use the lettuce. Right? If I don't have anything else but the remaining lettuce, I can use the lettuce. Although we use other stuff for karpas, what do the majority of people use today for karpas? What you should be using?
Celery.
Celery. You're using celery.
We don't use the leaf. We use only
The stalk. Okay, and you have to make sure it's checked.
Yeah, we check it.
the Zech electronic Pasim,
Abrashek,
the reason we came into Mitzrayim, it continues the celery,
Yeah.
is the Pasim.
Oh, it has the different. I hear. So the you want to use. That's what Chaim Vital says to use celery. Most Sephardim switched over to celery. And back in the olden days, people used to use different things.
What?
Cool.
Kahu is what? Pumpkin is.
No,
Pasta.
no, another one is. Cool is different.
Onion.
No,
Endives. Tortondak they used to use. They used to use different things like that. It was a different type of leafy vegetable. By Ashkenazim, a lot of them use carrot, potato. They use different things.
anything Adama.
So anything that's hadam. Don't dip a banana in there though.
But this is okay.
Yes, any vegetable. Right. So says the Rambam. Matchil u'mivarech borei pri adama. Rambam says, listen to this, Rabotai. The Rambam in source 22, he says borei pri adama, and he takes a vegetable u'mitabel oto b'charoset. The Rambam wants you to put it into charoset. We don't do that, but I think the Temanim, they once told me that they do that. They do put it in charoset. V'ochel kezayit. And the Rambam says, eat a kezayit. Yeah. Hu v'chol mesubin imoy. Kol echad v'echad. Ein ochel pachot v'kezayit. They should not eat less than a kezayit. So the Rambam wants you to eat a kezayit. The Rambam's idea is that if I'm eating something, in order for it to have a shem achila, I have to eat a kezayit of it. So I cannot eat less than it. The Rosh, on the other hand, says, "Mevarach al achilas marar tzarich she'achal kezayit. Dein achila pachas mikazayit. Although be yerakas harishaynos, but by karpas shemevarach lain bari pri adama be'alma. I'm not saying a bracha on the achila. It's not achilas matzah. It's not achilas marar. I'm saying a bracha bari pri adama. How much I have to eat after I say a bracha bari pri adama? I have to taste it. I don't have to eat a kezayit of it. I'm not calling it an achila, says the Rosh. I'm just saying bari pri adama. It's not a shame achila. Therefore, I don't have to make I don't have to eat a kazayit. The Rambam says eat a kazayit. The Rosh says don't eat a kazayit. Shulchan Aruch says.
What's the reason we're doing the karpas? That's why. What's the reason? I know why not to eat too much.
So the Gemara says
what's the reason?
For the children to ask. That's exactly what the Gemara says.
So
The Gemara says for the children to ask.
So there is no like bracha she'nat tzricha. What happened with bracha?
How's the bracha she'nat tzricha?
Huh?
How's the bracha she'nat tzricha?
You are eating something for the children to ask you a question.
So that's another issue. Is should if I eat a kazayit, I might have to make a bar nefashot. Right? So therefore, we say eat less than a kazayit. That's not even the issue of the rush yet. That's not even that issue yet. That's already brought in the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says v'yikach me'akarpas pachas mekazayis u'metabaloi b'choimitz. Here, what does Shulchan Aruch say you should dip it in? Listen to what Shulchan Aruch says to dip it in. V'yikach me'akarpas pachas mekazayis u'metabaloi b'choimitz. He wants you to dip it in the vinegar. Okay, so everybody has something else but wine vinegar, obviously. Okay, right, and he makes bari priyadama, and he eats it. And he should not make a bracha at the end of it. Okay, and says the Mishnah Baram, and one should have intention to exempt the maror. When I say the bari priyadama, I should have in mind about the maror. And even if one ate a kazayit, what happens if I ate a kazayit? Do I make a bar nefashot now? If I did eat a kazayit, we don't make any bar nefashot. even if you ate
you
a
have-
kazayit.
Why you have to have the maror? Because the maror is inside the seudah, no?
When you, why you have to have
You
intention?
do
Oh,
hamotzi.
you haven't-
You're making a boy priyadama, so I want to have in mind that for
That's
first.
what these guys say
Yeah.
in regards to something. Used to have a dessert. What do they say? They made a book adama. Why? Once, even though it's a vegetable, but once you give it chashivut, it has to be a bracha b'fnei
Bracha.
atzma. Even though it's after you made already a motzi, you ate a whole meal, and now you're making on a vegetable b'fnei adama again. Why? He says you gave it chashivut. So too maror, you give it a chashivut. You're like,
That's
oh,
why you
maror.
want to make a bracha.
Therefore,
priyadama.
it deserves a bracha. Ah, so the bracha
Right.
the kapas was already
It's
done,
already early.
and you have in mind the maror.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, that's why you want to have the intention. You want to give the bari priyadama also the attention on the maror. Okay, that is on karpas. What about now? We're up to yachatz. Yachatz is when we break the middle matzah. Why do we break the middle matzah? Well, because it's lechem oni, right? Lechem like an ani, which is when he breaks it, he puts part of it away. Okay, so we want to resemble that also by breaking it and putting part of it away. Says the Shulchan Aruch in source 27, V'yikach matzah emtza'it, v'yitza'en elishtayim, he takes the middle matzah and he breaks it into two. V'yiten chatziyah le'echad me'asubin l'shmora la'afikomin, v'notznin oto tachat ha'mapeh. So he gives one for someone to hold as an afikomin. It doesn't say anything about stealing, grabbing, and any of that.
It's already.
He just says give it to someone to watch it. The chetzia sheni, and the second half, yasim ben shtei hashelimos. You put it between the two middle, two other matzot. Okay.
Oh, we do, but I have Ashkenazi.
Says the Prima Gadim, when I'm cutting this middle matzah, biyad v'loy v'sakin. I should do it with my hand and don't get my serrated knife out to cut it out.
The what?
Kederech sha'ani oiseh. Yeah, when I'm cutting the matzah in half, and Ashkenazim always want to cut all their breads with knives, right? They don't just break it up like that. So he says, no knife when you're splitting the matzah in half. It has to be hands on, okay? Okay. Yesh shenotunin oto al katfeim zechel yetziat mitzrayim. There are those who do a zechel yetziat mitzrayim. At this point, after breaking the middle matzah in half, they take the matzah, they take the afikomen part, and they put it on their shoulder.
One of the children.
And they come in as if they're running out, and they say, "Oh, where are you coming from? Coming from Mitzrayim? Where are you headed to Jerusalem? What do you have with you? Masal maror."
Kid or the dog?
Whoever wants to pay for it. Okay, now, which every year there's always a question: which matzah you put him back in the middle, and which one you put for the afikomen?
The
Bigger one, smaller one. Which one goes where? I will tell you.
the bigger one you leave, and not for that afikoman. The bigger one for that.
It returns the smaller one back in between,
Right.
and the bigger one
For
is
the
the
afikomen.
afikomen. So which one is the vav and which one is the dalet? Which one? So dalet is dalet is the smaller one, right? Right?
Yeah.
The smaller section appears like a dalet, and it's put back in between the two.
If
The
you can
vav.
do it.
What do you mean? What I mean? I'm reading from here. We're making it up.
Listen, this is the matzah. When you break it like this.
The larger section is the piece that appears like a vav. And that is the afikomen. Tzaddik. I'm reading it again.
No, it's vav. You make the vav.
V'chelek hagodol b'tzuras vav menichol le'afikomen. V'chelek hakotam b'tzuras dalet meniach ben hamatzos. Well, we're arguing with this. True. Now, in the end of the day, very good. What's the vav and the dalet? The vav is the bigger one. Whichever matzah is bigger, that's the vav. Okay?
They bought from Shem Hashem.
Whichever matzah is smaller, that is the dalet. So,
It's asking what is
vav? What is dalet?
represent.
So what does it represent?
They bought from Shem Hashem. The vav you have in Shem Hashem, and dalet you have in Shem Hashem.
Well, you know what? It's a very good question. On one of the days of the Chag, we'll get into this Vav and Dalet, Be'ezrat Hashem, we know. Whichever one is slightly bigger, is your Vav. Whichever one is slightly smaller, is your Dalet. Okay? Finished. That's on Yachatz. Okay. Moving on. Now we come to.
This is the Adol Shem with Dalit.
It's Kabbalistic.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we come to Magid, Rabotai. We're up to Magid. So we're on page 70.
How many minutes left to say this?
Magid, Maskir and Yitzias Mitzrayim Belilot. Okay, so we had the Gemara. Where do we know that you say Yitzias Mitzrayim at night? So it says, Omer Elazar ben Adari, Arian, Anika ben Shem Shana, but Lazachiti, Shitomer, Yitzias Mitzrayim Belilot, Ach, Darshan ben Zoy much. Never mind. Laman Tzikar Yom Tzitecha, Meretz Mitzrayim, Kol Yemei Chayecha, Yemei Chayecha Yemim. Kol Yemei Chayecha Halelot. Chachamim Orim, Yemei Chayecha Olam Hazeh. So the question that's asked by the Mefarshim is, if every night I have a mitzvah of remembering Mitzrayim, it's yes Mitzrayim, what is the specialty about Leil HaSeder? So the Minchas Chinuch says, on page 71 in the bold, in page 71 in the bold part, maybe the regular night, every night, the mitzvah is just to remember it. Right? I say about Mitzrayim, Hashem took me out.
Yeah.
But loyla hagid livnoi. It's not about telling my children or telling someone else. And tonight on the mitzvah, there's a pillar is to tell over the story.
That day you have
That's to, it's to tell it over to someone, to tell it over the story. It's not my own zechira. I just remember and I'm done. The Chidusha Agrach says there are actually 3 parts of Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim on the night of Pesach compared to the other nights of the year. So first he says, like we just said, usually every night it's just lahaskir la'atzmai. But here he l'saper la'acher derech she'ilah v'tshuva. You have to do it in a question and answer form on the night of Pesach. Further he says, when it comes to the night of Pesach, not only you have to tell over the story, but you have to say how it happened, the development, how we ended up there, how we came out of there, the whole to-do, the whole story, full story. Okay? L'hatchil b'gnut, l'sayim b'shevach.
Which age are we saying you get the
Very good.
You have a child who is, let's say, 3 years old, 5 years old, and you have a child who is 15, 20. And the one who's 15, 20, you already heard all the Hidushim that you have and all the years. What are you going to say?
So, Lamasa, the best practice that I find, and I think works very well, is to always cater the Seder to the children.
Which should
The children who can understand. Children who can understand at the table, if you can get through to them, whatever age it is, so if they're 5, 6, whatever it is.
All ages, from age of 3.
I'm saying it. I'm saying it again. You cater to the youngest children who can understand. Even adults like a good story. Even adults like the fun and excitement that kids have at a Seder. At the end, if everyone goes to sleep, you want to go more up until Shachris the next morning and go into other stuff, fine. The Seder itself is for the children. Therefore, it should be catered to the youngest member that could participate in the Seder. That would be my answer to these. Okay? Youngest member that participates in the Seder.
When we read together and kids, 7, 8, 9, they want to read also.
Yeah.
Is it okay or only adults have to read?
Sure. Let them read. You read also.
Me too.
Keep reading.
Everybody, sure.
אני פשוט העברית שלי עדינה רוסית שלי.
I think the kids are taking over. They're teaching their parents.
And then the third part, says the Grach, is that what? Is that on the night of Pesach also we explain the mitzvot. Right? So it's not just telling over the story, but it's also the ta'ameh ha-mitzvot, why we're doing what we do. That's also something that needs to be mentioned.
But
Yeah.
every night what we say, Zecher Etzad Mitzrayim, it's a different reason. We're saying V'rot Hashem. Saying it,
Right.
We're saying it in Shmonais. It's not like I'm saying to myself. I'm saying to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, thank you for taking me out of Mitzrayim. But Leila Seder saying to the children what happened, what really happened
Right, that's what the Minchas Chinuch is saying. That's the Chlusha Agrach is saying. All very similar is that there's a zechira to remember what Hashem did, and here it's l'saper to tell over the story, to tell over the beginning from the beginning to the end, from all the mitzvot and everything that else that is going on. Now, the Haggadah. Who is to say the Haggadah? That was your question. So, la'alacha, everyone technically who has to participate at the Seder should be reading the Haggadah.
Yeah, if he knows how to read.
Everyone should be reading the Haggadah. Everyone who's participating at the Seder should do it. And that includes the woman. So what happened is 100%. Right. So the woman should not be in the kitchen frying the potatoes while you are reading the Haggadah. They also have to hear the Haggadah or read the Haggadah. Even if we even say that if a woman wanted to read within her family and she wants to read the Haggadah, she can read part of the Haggadah too, and everyone's fine with that. Okay.
How
So
this is the only night you have to let your wife a little bit freedom.
even if they do it in sing songs, it's not there.
Other nights, no, don't give her freedom. But this night you have to give her freedom. That's news. She's with her children. What's news over here?
No, the guest also, man.
A guest?
How she
Guest
gonna
is
read?
not far from your wife.
Let me ask you, your wife talks when people are around.
Oh,
Good, so she can talk and read the Haggadah too. I don't think the problem. We have ladies giving speeches and people listening, and then this one they can't do. Come on, nonsense. Let's stop it. Tom, if she feels that this is part of her participatory event of the Seder, she should be allowed to do it also. And if you're worried about singing and stuff like that, so you have what to rely on also. If many people are singing and the ladies singing also, you have what to rely on also. It's not an issue. And don't make it an issue. What? If there's men in the house singing and the woman want to sing as well, there are poskim who allow it.
What do you mean?
There are poskim who allow it. If there are people, even if you have guests, and there are multiple people, and there are multiple men singing, and the woman wants to sing as well, there are poskim who allow it. There are poskim who allow it. Her voice is not independent.
It's not singular.
She's not singing independently. She's singing with everyone else who's singing. There are poskim who allow it. There are poskim who say no. There are poskim who allow it as well. And a person shouldn't be machmer on this. If she feels this is her Shabbos and this is her Pesach and she wants to sing Isha Amda, but she's not overpowering everyone else, there's no issue with that. Okay? Now, technically, if she needs to go away from the table, she can hear the Haggadah being said. Right? She should at least be in earshot of the Haggadah. And if that doesn't happen, at least she has to come for the part that says Pesach Matzah Umara, Pesach Matzah Umara. Okay? If that's not, but you can give out the Haggadah. Everyone can read parts. An adult should technically try to read all of it, but you can give it to the children also and follow along with them. This way, first of all, just make sure they're reading it right also. So a person should look inside and follow along. You don't want to just give it to the child and then walk out. It has to be something that's, again, participatory. Everybody is involved in the Seder. Can it be read in English? It could be read in English. If it needs to be read in English, it could be read in English.
English, Arabic, anything.
The way that I did it and the way that I grew up doing it was that we read the Hebrew and explained it in English. And this English explanation wouldn't be a word for word, but rather a paraphrase, a summation of the past paragraph. And add in the chiddush here and there, a little bit of story and stuff like that.
Yeah, in a few different languages. We say in English, say in Hebrew. We say in Yiddish, say in
Afghani, no.
In Russian. I have a Russian son-in-law also. Yeah.
The Haggadah should not be cut and dry. I'm not just reading the words. All right, you have to bring it to life. The Haggadah has to be brought to life. And in our world where we live, our vernacular is English, right? So we need to speak in English so everyone can understand.
when we read this, we have to be, our face is supposed to be like depressed or happy.
Happy. You can do that?
Sometimes, whatever, before I feel somebody, all depressed, serious.
Here, so look at the Ramah. Look at source 73, page 73, source 34. Look at the Ramah. V'yarmru b'lashon shemiveinim anoshav ektanim. You should say it in the lashon that they understand. It's not about reading the Haggadah. You have to read the Haggadah, but it's not about reading the Haggadah. It's about them. It's about the children being involved. See, if you say it in the language children be involved, that means you should cater it to the children. That's the way I understood the Ramah. It has to be that the people at the table, to whatever level, they can all understand it. Now, the greater the person is, he can say something that the older person will understand something else, and the younger person will understand something different, and everyone understands something from what was said, right? So a person has to work on creating a Seder experience that everyone will get something from it.
What's the question? People Syrian, I guess.
Yeah.
And they don't understand Hebrew at all. So I have to be from the A to Z, everything in like English, or the whole. I mean,
In you have to summarize it in a way that it's understood. You don't have to say each word for word in English or in Russian or something like that. You have to explain it in a way that's going to be understood.
What we're doing now?
No,
Now
my
we're
question,
doing this.
I have
Now we're
to
doing this.
read first with Hebrew and then English, or it's okay. Everything is English, just English.
If I read everything in English, it's also fine.
Okay.
Yes. But I read everything in English. I'm using an English Haggadah that has a translation, right? And I'm reading everything. That's fine. Also, and you need to elaborate as well. Don't just read the words. All right. Don't take out an art school Haggadah and read these fancy words and no one knows what it means. All right. The idea is that they understand it. So whatever language you're using, they should understand it. Practical, I would suggest you to read it in Hebrew because there's a lot in the Hebrew as well, and then summarize it, paraphrase it, explain piece by piece, in a way that's understood. Okay, that's the best way to do it. Now, there's parts of the Haggadah where you'll see you have to take out the ka'ara, bring back the ka'ara, uncover the matzahs, cover the matzahs, fill the cup, fill out the cup. There's a lot of these parts, and all this again is for what?
For the children.
For the children to ask. You don't even need an answer. You want the children to ask. Again, who is the focus of the Seder?
Children.
Children. So that's your
Children,
focus.
This is the night for
When
the
they spill
children.
the wine,
Yes.
somebody told me, I don't know, I guess, be careful, this wine nobody should touch. It's like a
Yeah.
Poison.
Yeah.
poison. Is
Yeah.
it true or they make it up?
Somebody
Story?
drinking.
It should not be drunk. It needs to be spilled out. And it is
It's like
it
next.
has a tumah to it.
Come on.
It has punishment. It has the punishment. You don't want to drink that. You want to use a broken kos. People will use disposable cups. They put it in there. And la halacha, I believe they bring down also. It's custom. Don't put everybody a cup.
Toilet.
Ah.
So that cup whereby when you put the cup in manishtana, when you pour that cup, only the balabait, the guy who's running the seder, should have the cup. Everyone else waits.
They don't spill?
They don't spill. One person does the spilling. Why are you going to make more tumah? You could do it. I'm not saying you can't. What?
Yeah. Could do this.
The best way to do it, I'm explaining to you, is only the balabait fills his cup up by the beginning of Magid. Okay? He fills it up. They fill it for him. He has it. When he finishes doing the tzach hadash be'achav and all the stuff, and he throws it out, right? And now the refill, everybody fills up at that point. This way, you don't have to waste so much wine or so much grape juice. Listen, not everyone has to make more tumah, and you have one set. And v'zehu, that's the best way to do it. Your own cup has the wine, and you spill it into a disposable cup.
А у других все пустые стаканы или нет? У всех пустой, потом они наливают.
If you did fill it up, and everybody wants to do it, they can. Our Mutzafi brings that you can also fill up everybody's cup and just cover their cup at the time you're doing the tzach hadash be'achav, doing the markot. So they're different minhagim what can be done. The best way is the balabait runs the seder, he does it, everybody waits. That's in my opinion on that matter. Yes, each use it should be rinsed.
Inside blue?
Yeah, you remember how your grandmother did it? That's the way you do it. Exactly how it was. Okay? They knew what they were doing. Okay, now, we come after Magid, we come to which part of the Seder? We come to Rochza. What happens at Rochza? Rochza, again, is we wash our hands. Why are we washing our hands twice? I already washed my hands. Okay, why am I washing my hands a second time? So says the Gemara. Right? Maybe
this, maybe that.
Yeah, I was doing Magid. I was touching here, touching there. So Hesach Hadas, I have to wash again. What happens if I didn't do Hesach Hadas?
Then it's okay.
You still wash again.
You still want?
You
I
still
think
wash
I
again.
says that
You
if
still wash again.
if you know very
You
well,
still wash
like,
again.
you kept yourself, then you don't have.
You
But,
still wash
okay.
again. So
Okay.
if the guy made a bracha originally, okay,
I didn't do it, bro.
hey, let's say he made a bracha originally
Oh.
at Urchatz, okay, and now he's coming to Rachza, and he made sure his hands are clean, which he wasn't supposed to do because he shouldn't wash again and make a bracha at this point. But he washed it. He made sure nothing got touched. He's like this, the whole Seder, his hands are up, nothing got ruined. Okay? At this point, the Mishnah Berurah says he should walk into the bathroom or something like that and get his hands problematic, and then he has to wash again, make a bracha. That's what Yosef says, no, what are you doing? Why are you making yourself say another bracha? But you still have to wash it again without a bracha. So you have to wash Rachza regardless. The only question is, am I making a second bracha if I made the first bracha, which we shouldn't have. But otherwise, you wash again and you make the bracha at this point. Then we go to motzi matzah. Motzi matzah, there is a mitzvah. And the Rambam says, mitzvah taseh min haTorah, lechol matzah b'leil chamisha asa shenemar be'erev tacholu matzot. B'kol makom u'kol zman. The mitzvah of eating matzah on the night of Pesach is a deoraita mitzvah. Is a deoraita mitzvah. You have to do it, right? V'lo tala achila zu b'karban Pesach. Nothing to do with karban Pesach. And that's only on the night of Pesach, the night of the Seder. The rest of the Chag, there is no mitzvah to eat matzah. You want, you want. You don't want, you don't want. You don't have to eat matzah the rest of Pesach. Now, here we deal with how many matzot do I need to have
For the first night.
for the ka'ara, for on the plate? How many matzot do I need to have?
For each person.
How many do I need to hold when I make the barachot? So Rashi says, like we all do, you need 3.
Yeah, and then
Right? What's the reason Rashi says you need 3? Because you're breaking one by yachas. So when I make the bracha of hamotzi, how much I usually need on a regular Friday? I need 2. I need 2 full ones. I can't use the half, so therefore I use 3.
No, the Haggadah tells you to take
No, but the
matzah
around.
Yeah, so I understand it based on Rashi.
and
Okay.
do
And based on the Rosh.
Yeah.
Rambam, on the other hand, says no. Rambam says all you need is 2 matzot.
Yeah.
1 full, 1 broken.
This is what one broken.
Yeah. And you can make all the brachot on that. So the Rambam says.
That's the
The Gra does that. The Maser Rav, the Gra, those who follow the Gra, they use 2 matzot. They don't use 3. We use 3. And
We don't use 3. We use only 2. No, we use 2. For hamotzi, we use 2. And the Haggadah tells you, take the shnei matzot hashlemot and do hamotzi.
you're right. I got the guy getting it from Rashi. The Rashi says you need 2 full
Okay.
because you need to make a bracha hamotzi on 2
So
full.
we say we have
The
to go-
Rambam says you don't need that.
But
We don't go with this Rambam.
But with who we go?
Rashi.
Okay,
This one we go
that's
with Rashi. Okay, now the
So we said bracha with the 3 matzah. Yeah.
2. You don't even see the half. Half in the middle.
Well, for the plate, those.
Then you put down the bottom one, right? And that's al chilas matzah. Right. The Rambam says you do motzi and chilas matzah on 1.5.
Okay. And which one are we gonna eat after that?
That's what the Rambam says. You don't need 2 shalom. We don't hold like that. The Rosh says also you have to have 2 shalom, and then you put down 1, and then you have the 1.5, and you make al chilas matzah, and then the Rosh says you have to eat a kazai from both of those matzah. Right?
That's what
Which
we do.
throws no, we don't do that. It's impossible to do that. How's everyone going to eat 2
No,
kazai
but
thought from
a
small piece? The Rosh doesn't say that. Rosh says "V'oisen biyacha mikol achat kazayit." You eat from each one a kazayit.
Extra matzah,
Okay.
we do it together.
So the Bach is he says why have to eat 2 kazayot? 2 kazayot. If I make hamotzi, right? I eat hamotzi. When I say bracha hamotzi, do I must eat a kazayit? No, I want to eat a little piece of bread to make hamotzi. So I don't need a kazayit for the hamotzi. I need a kazayit for the al achilas matzah. Al achilas matzah is a shem achila. I need a kazayit. So why do you need 2? And Shulchan Aruch says, taking source 45, v'yochlin v'haseva v'yachad kazayit mikol echad. You need to eat the kazayit from both the top and the bottom one. Right. From the broken one and from the top one. If you don't have two, then you can eat one kazayit. I'll just tell you halacha l'maaseh. Do you have to eat two kazaytot when you do al-achilat matzah?
Yeah.
If you're going to eat a kazayit from both the top matzah, the actual kazayit from the top matzah and from the middle matzah, from the broken matzah, then you should eat two kazaytot. If you don't have enough to eat kazayit from both, then you do not have to eat two kazayitim when it comes to this part. One kazayit is enough. So b'di avad, one kazayit is enough. Two kazayitot you only have to eat if you're going to eat the kazayit from each of those matzot. But if you're giving everybody, I have 20 people at the Seder, I'm giving everybody a piece of that middle matzah, it's not going to be enough of a kazayit on that second matzah. At that point, you don't have to eat two kazayitim. One kazayit would be more than enough. Just to end off this part of the shir, give me 1 second, I'll say B'Hanyan in a second. The Shulchan Aruch says, shir kazayit. Yesharmer dahavi kechatzi beitza. It's as if it's half a beitza. L'maisa, what is a kazayit? What is the measurement of a kazayit that we should be going by? So it's a little less than 30. We say about 27, 28 grams. All right? The person should go with the 28 gram shita. Now, although when the measurements of Chazal are in volume, right? Measurements of Chazal are in volume, which means displacement. If I had something I put it in water, how much it would displace, that's how you measure volume. However, that's a hard way to measure. And as such, you can use weight. And what's the best way to weigh everything out? So there are different opinions what you should do. Some say you should already prepare all the baggies with all the kazayites before the Seder. Right? You don't know what to do Erev Pesach? Here's what to do. Crack all the matzot, make sure everything has the kazayites set and ready to go. Whichever matzah you're using. It doesn't make a difference. It still has that kazayit. And then if a person wants to use a scale, usually you're not allowed to measure on Shabbat and Yom Tov. But for the bar mitzvah, you would be allowed to, but of course you cannot get one of those fancy scales that has an AI computer with whistles and buttons and all these other things. It has to be a simple manual scale that a person can use. But if you're going to be scaling everything out on the Seder, I don't know what time you're going to have any time to eat anything because I got to make sure it fits. So someone told me once a good eitzah.
On those days they had a scale.
Right? So someone once told me a good eitzah. He said, prepare before the Seder. If you don't have time preparing all the kazayit, around there, I'm going to miss Seder. You're going to forget it. I think I have 2 seconds left. So I was told as follows. Follows a good idea. Prepare before they say the matzahs you're going to use, whether it's Temani matzah, Syrian matzah, Moroccan matzah, Kunduli matzah, whichever matzah is going to be. Take it, prepare a kazayit beforehand. What you know looks and feels like a kazayit. And then that's your model kazayit for the rest of the Seder. So now when you're cracking, you say, oh, does it match this size? No, I make a little bit, and yet you have a model of the size for the rest of the Seder. Now, just regarding, because you said that the soft matzahs are not good. Soft matzahs are very good. You said they're not good for us. That's what I heard you say. Did you say that?
They have to be Jewish.
Soft matzah is not hametz, and it's matzah. And one can definitely use it. Rabbi Shai Tahan put out an article once that at some point in history, everybody used soft matzot, Rabbi Shai Tahan said. And we know it's definitely matzah. And many of the halachot, and I was like you at one point. I also said, I guess like that, and I'm just speaking to different poskim, and everybody said it's fine, it's good, you can use it. It makes the Seder a lot easier run because the kazayites are much smaller amount to eat. Things can go by faster, and I think everyone you don't have to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning, and it works out better if a person has it. And a person can use it. Rabbi Elbaz sells it. I don't think you can buy it anymore. I think the sale was sold out. And I got 3 packs. I'm good. I think I'm good for the same. Whatever Rabbi Elbaz charged.
Which one?
But that's where it is. Okay.
Yeah, I want to buy.
They don't taste like pizza. They don't taste like lafo. They taste like matzah. A little softer. All right. We have minyan. Okay.
רבי חנניה כשהוא מנצח את ישראל, רבי
Yeah.
מה יחפש, מה, ידיד, הרב ידיד.